Fatima is a big deal. It seemed to be something that's been going on for hundreds of years, and I've never heard of it.
I was definitely pleasantly surprised. I was most impressed by the dedication and the amount of work that this must have took to actually get together, you know? There's a lot of stuff happening.
I found it exhilarating to understand that this has been going on for 300 or 400 or 500 years. And if everybody sees this, believers and non-believers, something will happen.
I found this film to be a really interesting, thought-provoking film. I've got to think about what it really implies, but it was well done. Paul Stark did a great job, and it's an interesting subject, particularly for this time. I think it was meant to be made, and I hope a lot of people see it. I'm going to see it again.
It was a subject that I had very limited knowledge of. I certainly know a lot more now about the miracles of Fatima and about the politics and about some of the darkness, perhaps, that seems to be swirling around a place that we've always believed to be a place that is a place of light. It means we have to ask some pretty hard questions.
I thought the film was very well put together. It seemed like in the audience there's a lot of strong opinions on both sides, people that agreed and disagreed. I certainly felt the film raised compelling questions about the liberalization of the Catholic Church and what might have led to that. So I really enjoyed it.
I found the movie very deep, and I may have to watch it several times to really get the message. I enjoyed it. I was coming with the idea that it was going to be a criticism of the Catholic Church and our beliefs, but I come away realizing that no, that's not it. And I really enjoyed it, and I will recommend it.
I'm glad it lived up to my expectations, and it is indeed very, very powerful, and it's a message that has to be propagated throughout the world as soon as possible. It is the message for our times, and it ties right into, as Pope Benedict XVI has mentioned, the dire warning of Revelation.
Pope Benedict, as Cardinal Ratzinger in 1984, he said it concerns, quote, the dangers to the faith and the life of the Christian, and therefore of the world. He uses della mundo, which means of the world. That's what it concerns. It's apocalyptic. He tells us it's in sacred scripture. He tells us it concerns the last things at the end of time.
Okay, I like the fact that the film was a historical perspective in modern times. I like the fact that it was really well researched and deeply explored and challenging. And it got people talking and thinking and questioning things. Yeah, it got people thinking. I think it's important in these times. There's a lot going on. We need to start thinking.
I was most impressed with the film. Actually, I had thoughts of John Grisham being behind it all because it was such a thriller. And I think it would hold the interest of anyone who decides to watch it.
I have been very interested in the Fatima prophecy for many, many years. My degree is in history, and I'm very fascinated with the history of the Church. And the Vatican II, I had a totally different idea of Vatican II after watching this film. It was very informative, very instructive, and very beautifully crafted. I'm very impressed with the level of crafting of this film.
I leave troubled and confused about the Catholic Church and its current direction and current leadership of the Pope's post-Second Vatican Council.
I enjoyed the film. It's nice seeing those old films from the Vatican, and also what happened to the Catholic Church. It's not Catholic anymore, you know. It has still the same brand, Catholic, but the ways are not Catholic anymore. The teachings are not Catholic. You know, there's a similarity, but it's not that really true teachings anymore. The mission of the Catholic Church is to save souls. And now that's not the mission anymore. It's about immigration, environment, the poor.
I think this is a great movie. I guess it's not a movie, it's more of a documentary. And anything that I've seen there seemed to have the whole truth in it. And it's about time, I think, that the world woke up that the consecration of Russia has not been done. The whole documentary seems very well documented and everything. They did a lot of research. And I hope it opens up a lot of eyes to the people what's going on in the what I call the conciliar church today.
I really liked this film because it laid out the Fatima message. A lot of people these days are looking for peace and looking for peace in the world, and God really just needs something so simple as a consecration to Russia. So this movie really meant a lot to me, and it was fantastic to be able to see it and see so many people supporting its message. I would love to see this film spread around the world as much as possible so people can see the importance of Our Lady of Fatima and the message of peace that she spreads.
Well, certainly the film was very interesting, and it covered almost everything. In Europe, there were others who also felt that Fatima was the most important message that we had received in the last century. The film contributed to it in a number of aspects because there were appearances by a number of the experts, like Frère Michel in France, who wrote probably one of the most authoritative books that there is on Fatima. I've been in Fatima a number of years, and the message, the essential message of Our Lady is totally, should we say, suppressed over there. You simply don't get the authentic message of Fatima over there.
I just finished watching The Vatican Deception, which I think is a phenomenal movie. I think everybody should see it. And I don't just mean Catholics, I mean everybody should see it. It is so informative.
All the questions it kind of brought up, all the things to think about, they're pretty important now, I think, especially in this day and age, in this generation, with all of the chaos and the obvious crisis in the church. I think it's good not to be kept in the dark and to see the other perspective and what might be going on behind closed doors. It's good to be aware of even of the possibilities.
It opened my eyes. Sure. What a wonderful documentary that was. I mean, it really opened my eyes to some things going on in the world that I've never known about. And from a Protestant family and me not practicing, it's still very, very interesting. And I'm a PhD student at York University. I'm surrounded by religion from a scholarly perspective all the time, and the level of research in this film was just phenomenal. I highly recommend it to everybody. It seems like some really important stuff that is really flying under the radar.